You to velocity. This is something we've been keeping our eye on throughout the evening. This has been showing us really where we're finding the spin in the atmosphere. So you can clearly see just south of Calumet, that green right next to the red approaching Hammond as well. This is the area where we're finding that radar indicated rotation within the storm. It is going to move quickly up to the east-northeast, East Chicago, down towards I-80 out ahead of this storm. Get to your safe place. Hopefully this moves rather quickly. That warning in effect until 8:30. We've been monitoring so much this evening with you, 9:30 I should say, thank you. This evening with the threat of not only confirmed tornado touchdowns across northern Illinois, the system is now advancing farther to the east in northwest Indiana. So very heavy rain, also hail and high gusty winds within this storm. So from East Chicago down towards Hammond right now, right along the I-80, I-90 corridor here, this will continue to ride to the east here. It's going to move quickly. I believe we have Larry with me as well this evening, and what we're finding in that latest scan is that this storm is moving quickly off to the east, so this really won't be sticking around for too long, but something we do have to monitor. And Larry, we've been watching this storm system for several hours now. Clear signs on velocity of rotation within these thunderstorms this evening. We're not out of the woods yet. We have the tornado watch in effect until 10 p.m. So this is the last of it as it shifts to the east in northwest Indiana, but still finding the rotation here very close to the Hammond area in East Chicago as well, right along I-80 here, crossing over 20. What are you seeing?
Yeah, it's just about ready to cross over the state line in the next few minutes or so. And you can see the outline on the map here of the tornado warning until 9:30, and then the severe thunderstorm warning for northern Lake County until 9:45. Let me zoom in closer and show you the outline of the box here. Right now, that circulation is just getting closer to you folks in Hammond. You can see the tornado warning continues over towards the Gary area, just south of Whiting, Hammond, Griffith. You're included in that tornado warning. And as you look at the storm here, the southern flank, as Cheryl was mentioning, that can sometimes be an area of concern where you get a little spin and rotation to develop and produce a tornado. That's what we're seeing on the radar right now. In fact, as we switch over to that velocity data, Cheryl was watching it pretty closely. It doesn't look as impressive as some of the other velocity data we've seen throughout the course of the evening, but right now, as we put this in motion, we had the bright greens and reds back here over South Holland, and now it's moving towards the state line, getting very close to you folks in Hammond. So if you're in Hammond right now, if you're over in Munster, Highland, Griffith, East Chicago, Gary, you should be taking your tornado precautions right now and letting this storm pass on by, because as I'm speaking with you, that circulation is just now crossing the state line right here now, getting over towards really right along I-80 here as it's moving off towards the east is where this circulation is, and it's moving at about 35 miles per hour. So let me just put a track on this here, and we'll track it at 35 miles per hour off towards the east, and that'll put it in through the northern parts of Lake County here as we go through the next couple of moments over towards Hammond, at least downtown Hammond at around 9:09, then over towards Van Loon and Osborne around 9:12 and 9:15, and Munster around 9:08. So basically it's approaching Munster right now, moving towards Hammond. You folks over towards Gary, you need to be on guard here as this potential tornado heads in your direction. Again, this is a radar indicated tornado, so it's not confirmed by the radar, but it's spotted by the radar because we got that rotation showing up, and this will continue to track to the east. I don't like the look of it here on the radar. You see that little curl, that little hook that's developed? Those are one of those signatures that we keep a close eye on for any potential rotation right there. And there you can see it over Calumet City, moving into the town of Hammond. Right there, there's the latest sweep. That little notch that shows up on the radar, those are the concern spots where you get the rotation. Raining really hard right now in East Chicago, down towards Gary, right along the Skyway. This is some intense rainfall coming down with this storm as it's moving through. And not only that, you're probably getting some hail and hearing a ton of thunder and seeing just a tremendous amount of lightning with that portion of the storm that's in right along the shoreline there in northwest Indiana. So the wider view, Cheryl, I tell you, this is the last storm we have. Look how quiet everybody else is, but this is an area where we've got this tornado warning in place until 9:30. What do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, it's hugging almost the lakefront.
Yes.
The circulation that we are finding right now is just to the north of I-80 here, and then there's I-90. So it's almost sandwiched in between. So just to the north there of Hammond. But I do want to go back to radar because as Larry was pointing out, that little notch on the lower end of the southern end of this line of storms here. We're still picking that up, so getting very close to East Chicago right now. Again, this warning is in effect until 9:30. Likely that the storm will be passing to the east, but for anyone close to the lakefront here, right along I-90, just to the north of I-80, this is where we're finding the potential of some circulation within this warned storm. We don't have a confirmed tornado touchdown here. It is very dark. It is very late at night, so this is not something you want to go outside, take a peek. If you're under this warning here in parts of Lake County, you want to get to your basement, lowest level of your home. Make sure that you are in your safe spot until this passes. And we are looking at velocity now just to the south of East Chicago, so just to the north now of I-90. There you can see Gary, the lakefront here. Clearly there's 20. We'll zoom in a little bit closer where we are finding the worst of this rotation. So as we zoom in closer here, if you're seeing your road or your street on the map, you got to get to the lowest level of your home, your safe place. You can see Kennedy Avenue, Gary Road, stretching to the east a little bit farther, Clark Junction there, East Chicago, Michigan Avenue up there to the northern part of your screen there, really getting close to the lakefront here. So this is not going to be with us for a long time. We do just have to get through this, but clearly still seeing some velocity signatures on radar at this point in time. It has been such an active evening here. It is February 27th. It is winter. We've been tracking severe storms throughout the day. Almost record heat in place today as well. High of 74 degrees. Still working with the moisture and the instability here. Still finding some rotation, low levels of the atmosphere. This was a zone that we were concerned about throughout the day as well, just because of the ingredients coming together here. The dew points, the moisture surging throughout the afternoon hours. So we're not done yet. We did get a little bit of a break from the tornado warnings earlier, but still on the map right now, finding that bright reflectivity here. Let me just query this quickly. I do want to see what it's showing in terms of velocity, the signature, the winds. We've seen some decent signatures throughout the afternoon and the early evening. Velocity showing wind speeds upwards of 60, 70 miles per hour. We're not seeing a clear sign here like we were a little bit earlier. Bit of a broader rotation on the map with us tonight in northwest Indiana. Just to the north of Hammond now, there's that center of circulation here. That tornado warning will remain in effect until 9:30. So switching over to radar, putting this into motion, it is going to move out over Lake Michigan here quickly. So hopefully this is over really soon and we could get you all out of the danger zone of a potential tornado touchdown in this region. But right now, East Chicago, it is about to cross overhead. It basically is on top of you right now from Whiting to East Chicago to the east. Clark Junction, you're right there. Ivanhoe, Gary as well. But Gary, you're a little bit too far off to the east here. This is going to be out over the lake waters in a short amount of time. Larry?
Yeah, it is, Cheryl. And I was just talking with the Weather Service, and the circulation itself has weakened. As you were pointing out a second ago, they confirm with us what we're seeing as the circulation has weakened. But right over East Chicago is where that hook echo is still located, and it is just minutes away from pushing out over the lake at this point. You see how most of the rain has come to an end down in Hammond and Calumet City. And even though we have this tornado warning extending still into parts of Cook County, if you're in Cook County, no threat of a tornado with this system right now. It's over here in East Chicago where the concern is for still a tornado with this little storm as it's moving up here right over the lake in just the next couple of moments. I know this is an area where we've got a lot of industries in this zone as well, and then the housing areas around here as well. We need to get everybody to that safe room if you're not there in East Chicago and let this storm pass on by. It's going to be gone in the next couple of moments, and when we switch over to velocity mode, we can zoom in a little bit closer here and show you that right here is where we had that circulation develop back over southern parts of Cook County, and now it's still there just over I-90, just north of I-90 right now, and just north of US 20 here in US 12 or so. And you can see the updated tornado warning box popping on the map there. That's that red outline, which is a smaller box than before, and it's taken out the Illinois portion of the warning. So I was talking about if you're in Illinois, the tornado threat is done for you, but right now that tornado threat continues for just this small portion here between East Chicago, really from East Chicago down to the Gary Airport. is still the zone where there could be a potential tornado right along the lakefront that's going to move out over the lake in the next couple of moments here. The path of this particular storm is a little bit more northeast. We've had several of these storms move due east. This one has taken on more of a northeast track for it as it moves out over the lake. And water temperatures are in the 30s. So what will happen as this moves out over the lake, it will still be a very strong storm, at least from the mid-levels to the higher levels, but it will start ingesting some of that colder air that's out over the water temperatures of the lake, which are in the 30s. So that'll cut down on any tornado threat once it moves out over the water. Could maybe be a water spout or two before it completely kind of fizzles out. But back to the west, you can see things are quieting down. It's just now right along the lakefront there in East Chicago, Cheryl, that we're still watching for that potential for a quick little brief up, spin up tornado.
Yeah, this is going to be over within the next 5 to 10 minutes as it moves over Lake Michigan. So that's a good news. Good news. National Weather Service will likely confirm this tornado warning, or I should say expire it early, and we'll get news of that here potentially in the next couple of minutes, and that's what we're hoping for. With that said, the tornado warning was issued until 9:30, but you can see it has shrunk a bit now, just encompassing northern Lake County here, and then really that cell that we were finding the rotation is now moving to the north and the northeast, out and away. So we are beginning to get in that safe zone as the storm passes to the east. We'll continue to monitor. I mean, we're talking the immediate lakefront right now. So East Chicago, the worst of it, just passing you as well. We have just a little bit of a zone here, likely an industrial region here that's getting hit with the heavy rain, but this is going to be out of here in no time in the next couple of minutes. So that tornado warning should expire here in the next couple of minutes. Severe thunderstorm warning also still in effect here for northern Lake County, but also that storm is lifting to the north, so that should expire a little bit early as well. So that is good news as the storm is moving rather quickly, switching over to velocity. We're finding that signature pushing farther off to the east-northeast. It has been an active afternoon and evening of weather. A lot of lightning, downpours, hail, and then the confirmed tornadoes across the region. We definitely had a few confirmed tornadoes touch down. They were seen by storm spotters and storm chasers out there, and we have emergency management out assessing the damage. National Weather Service will be out in the area tomorrow to go over everything and give us the update on how many tornadoes, confirmed tornadoes, and the strength. Tornado warning has just, nope, it's still in effect for Lake County, but again, we are expecting, okay, circulation has intensified just west of Gary Airport, so we're going to monitor that, and it's just to the north of the airport. So let me go back to radar here. We're finding still some circulation in this region from Ivanhoe up towards Clark Junction. It's a very popular airport in this region. A lot of folks they use it frequently for the air and water show, I believe, in this area. So still monitoring some very weak rotation. Let me take a look at velocity in this region.
Yeah, Cheryl, it doesn't look very good on velocity, at least from right now, but the Weather Service is suggesting there is some circulation developing there, and the Gary Airport is just off US 12 and I-90 there. It's kind of in the northwest corner of Gary, just across the city line, rather, from East Chicago into Gary. So that's where this circulation is still being apparently seen. It's right along the shoreline now, north of the airport is where that circulation is. So as we're looking at the map here, there's East Chicago. Down here is Gary. So right here, and I got to zoom out just a little bit to give you a sense of where the airport is. Right here is where the Gary Airport is located. You kind of see even on the map the runways here. So right up here, right along the lakefront, right on the shoreline is where this potential tornado is located according to the Weather Service. So it's just about ready to cross out into the lake and then continue over the lake here in the next few minutes. Looking at the radar scans, you know, most of the activity is out over the lake in terms of the rain, but sometimes these rotation signatures, and when you look at a tornado that comes out of a storm, it doesn't go directly straight down from where it shows up on a radar. Sometimes it can be angled down to a different location, maybe off by a half mile or so from where it shows up on the radar, just because of where the radar is detecting the rotation. Down at the ground level, it could be a little off from what the radar is picking up. But nonetheless, right here just north of the airport is where that circulation is located, and it's just about ready to cross out into the lake. Gary Airport Tower staff reporting seeing the rotation 2 miles north of the field, indicating it does not appear to be on the ground. So that's the latest update from the crew there at the Gary Airport, giving us some information about what they're seeing there at the Gary Airport. So that's a good sign. And I tell you, Cheryl, this will be canceled before 9:30. I can tell you that. It's just a matter of another couple minutes here.
Minutes, as they're seeing some of that circulation just passing now north of the Gary Airport. Let me turn off sweeping radar. You can see a clear view of the map right now. So there's the airport, Clark Junction just to the north, I-90, and that rotation just being spotted by some staffers there at the Gary Airport Tower. So what we're going to continue to watch here is that this is going to continue to lift north, up and away from this area. The severe weather will be kicked out of here, just waiting to get a confirmation that this tornado warning is going to expire before 9:30. It is now 9:20. I really don't see any extreme threats from the storm system as it lifts up to the north. So if you're in this area close to the Gary Airport, give it a few more minutes, let it completely clear from your region. And then once we get this storm out of here, up to the north and off to the east, we're going to have a much quieter night in terms of storms. However, a big transition will be coming through. Temperatures are going to dive and plummet. We're going to feel so much colder tomorrow morning with the threat of some snow, and we'll continue to keep you posted on that. But for now, we did just want to chime in and bring you the very latest with that recent report coming in from the National Weather Service as some weak rotation was being spotted here in Northwest Indiana, East Chicago over towards Ivanhoe and I-90. Again, the cell is passing just up to the north and east and off of the lake into open water. So definitely weakening. Larry, just waiting here for the National Weather Service to chime in with this passing to the north of the warned area to expire.
It should be expired here pretty quickly. I'm trying to communicate with the Weather Service. And the National Weather Service are the folks that issue these warnings when we get them from, when they get across the map for us and when we get alerts in the bottom of your screen when the warnings come across. Even your phone alerts, the warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings come from the National Weather Service office. And we relay with them what we're seeing and they pass along their information that they're seeing to us too. But as you can really clearly see, the storm itself is out over the lake. So pretty much the tornado threat is over here in Lake County in Indiana. We'll just keep an eye on this here. It's just taken them a few minutes yet to clear the warning, but the storm itself will continue to move out over the lake. We'll have to see if it maybe moves over towards parts of Berrien County and LaPorte County as well. But for the most part, this storm is now firmly out over the lake, and it still has a hook there to it as well. So it could be producing maybe a water spout out over the lake or even a funnel cloud as it's moving off towards the north and the east. Still waiting for them to clear that. Hasn't happened yet, Cheryl. We're still waiting.
It's got to happen in a matter of minutes here. We are watching this closely. It is moving out of here, and we just want to get that confirmation to relay to you. Once this expires here in this area, we will be storm-free really through the remainder of the evening, but we're going to see the winds pick up in intensity, gusts upwards of 30, 40 miles per hour overnight, temperatures dropping into the 20s. We had a high of 74 degrees today. This is going to be one of the largest temperature drops in this area in a matter of 24 hours. And won't be the greatest, but it's going to be significant and it's going to feel so much different tomorrow. It really is a sign of just how powerful this storm system has been. I can see that we're chatting with National Weather Service right now, waiting to get that confirmation that that warning has expired. And just to give you an overview here on regional satellite and radar, the tornado watch set to expire at 10 p.m. across the area. Let's zoom on out so you can see once these storms pass up to the north and east, as they are at this moment in time, back to the west with this cold front, we're tapping into a much colder air mass with snow. So we are going from 70s and severe weather to snow into the overnight hours and early tomorrow. It won't be a big snow event, but snow flying around after 74 degrees is a big change for us. So we're going to feel that. We're going to have wind chills tomorrow morning in the single digits, near single digits. So it's going to feel about 50 to 60 degrees colder than today. And the dynamics were there this afternoon for these storms to fire up. Definitely a few confirmed tornadoes out of this system, which will be verified tomorrow as National Weather Service goes out and surveys the damage. So here's that front right now. It's going to continue to pass to the east of us. Finally, we are getting word that that tornado warning is canceled in the area. We are going to bring you the very latest coming up on our news at 10. For now, we will get you back to regular programming.